Hello and welcome back to the Week in Nintendo right here on GVG. I'm your host this week, Steve Bowling, and what a week it's been. We had, the release of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, so what else would we be talking about this week? I'm joined to discuss the new film by both John and Daniel. Let's start with Daniel. How you doing today?
Doing good. I'm just waking up at our usual early hour of recording, but it's been a long week, had a lot going on, and I'm glad that I got to watch the movie in the middle of all that, because I needed that. I honestly did.
Yeah, it's been interesting this week. Like, for those of you that don't know, when we do the Week in Nintendo, or most of our videos with John, for those of us, it's super early because of the time difference, because we don't want John to be up super late. So right now it's about 6:30 in the morning. I've seen some people comment, like, when I'm on these videos, they're like, Steve, why are you so quiet? And I'm like, I'm barely here. But anyway, John, it's a significantly later time of day. I think it's like closer to 4 o'clock for you.
It's nearly 3. I'm thriving over
it's
here.
nearly 3. Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I think people don't appreciate, like, Daniel, you and I are often like, damn, another early direct. But for most of the world, it's just like a leisurely afternoon
We're
direct.
rubbing our mitts together. We're laying back on our deck chairs saying, what a time to be alive, whereas you guys are just crawling out of bed like zombies.
I crawl out of bed. It's like, for us on the West Coast, everyone else that does reactions or that watches it on the West Coast, it's 6 a.m. usually. So I'm often getting all of my energy fed to me through John and his vibrant face. So thank you, John.
You're very welcome. They were with State of Plays. They tend to do them around 10 p.m. my time, which it's still an acceptable hour, but I don't want to be on camera at that time. So I usually throw those off to you guys.
Yeah, that's usually my reaction when we have a direct. Unless there's something that I know is going to be massive, I'm like, I will just not be on camera because I'll take the extra 30 minutes to an hour to wake up and just do the discussion with the rest of the crew. I prefer that generally, but I think there will be at least a direct. If the rumors that we're hearing are true, there will be a direct that I'll be up at 6 a.m. for.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, Star Fox, Ocarina of Time, like one of those. If I know when that's coming, I'll be there. But John, how was your, just real quick, like, you saw the Mario movie. How was your movie going experience? Like, we'll talk about the movie in a sec.
It was good. I got to see it with my daughter and my wife. I think going with a kid is like one of the coolest experiences for a kids movie, which I think it primarily is. It's a Nintendo Easter egg fest, but also something geared at kids. And I get to look over at her, see her reaction, see her expression. She was having such a good time. I can see Daniel got the Yoshi popcorn bucket over there. We got the Luma one, and she was thrilled with it so much. There's like a little light up switch at the bottom, which you can turn on and off. Had to keep saying, don't do that in the movie. But it was just really fun. And we'll talk more about the quality of the movie, but all in all, I had a good time. I think there's a lot of hyperbole going around. It's not a masterpiece, but I've seen people say it's the worst movie they've ever seen, and I can't fathom how that can be so.
Yeah, I had a very poor movie going experience. You said you took kids. I had to deal with other people's kids.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear, because as a parent, I understand that sometimes you have to take young kids to the cinema with you, and young kids are difficult to control. These tyrants were like 11.
Ruffians.
And so, yeah, jerks, douchebags. But they were old enough to really be, a bit more controlled. They understood movie etiquette, or at least, well, they're old enough to understand it, and they did not. Like, they were screaming jokes and standing on chairs and cartwheeling in the theater. Probably the most distracting movie going experience I've had, but it didn't take away from the film for me. I did end up, like, I never have seen Rosie that bothered in her whole life. And because she was sat right next to one of the two kids, and she eventually just asked their parents if their kids were ever going to stop, and they were like, no. And so she just was like, all right, we're moving then. And so I blissfully followed her.
I've got a question about you and Rosie. So Steve's wife is British. There's a culture difference between movies in America and England. You don't make a sound when you watch movies in the cinema in the UK. So all those reaction clips you see from Marvel movies where people clap and cheer and scream. Mm-hmm. We don't do that. Like, you've got to be quiet in that movie, otherwise people are going to tut at you. With the Mario movie, my entire experience was completely dead silent. No one made a sound. So what is your wife like when people do that? Was that caused like a big reaction with her?
Yeah, she was enraged. Yeah. like I said, it was the angriest I've ever seen her. And
it's betrayed all she knows.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I was confused initially. I was like, it's annoying for sure. But like, you're really mad. Because she could hear those kids talking, because we moved up to near the front row, just to get away from them. And they were, I mean, when I say they were screaming, I'm not joking. Like, it was top of their lungs. This isn't a spoiler, but at one point Bowser shows up, surprise. What? And one of the kids screamed out that Bowser was fat. And Rosie, I saw her visibly tense, like she was trying not to get up and tell that kid to be quiet.
First off, Bowser is not fat. That's pure muscle, by the way. Pure muscle.
Don't body shame Bowser.
Yeah.
But so just a very difficult experience for her, and that makes sense. I've never seen a film in the UK because obviously the times I've been there, the last thing on my mind has been to go see a movie. But yeah, it definitely was an extremely loud experience. I think we all expected to have like a few babies and like small children who were definitely going to emote at the movie, which fine. Like it is objectively a kid's movie, Yeah. But I don't think we expected like fully sentient kids who could know better to just be on their worst behavior throughout the film. I think that's what put her over the edge. Like,
throw them in jail. That's what I say.
It's so funny to consider a theater where it just has to be dead silent, because I feel like some of the more fun experiences I've had in theaters is when the audience is very vibrant, like not disrespectfully so, but they get excited during exciting cutscenes and all that. But was your theater, John, was it like fairly full for the hour that you went in there?
And it was so full. So we went first thing in the morning. It was like at 9 a.m. I think it was like the second screening of the day. I think they opened at 8. And there's some kids there, like kids talk a little bit. But throughout the movie, it's pretty much just dead silent, man. I think there was one part where there was like a laugh. Mild laughing is acceptable. That's okay. That's not going to get you a tut. But a cheer, people are not there for that.
Man,
you can't clap.
Yeah, I need to ask Rosie about that, because we saw over the holidays, we saw the extended Lord of the Rings cuts, because those were all in theaters over Christmas time here in the US, and everyone clapped. Like, I didn't, because I'm not a clapping at the screen kind of guy.
Yeah,
but I think it's just silly, and Rosie didn't clap either. But I have to wonder if that annoyed her, because at the beginning of each film, Peter Jackson gives like an intro, and then people just applauded him, and I'm like, he can't hear you.
You can clap when there's like performers, when it's a stage performance and there's actors there, you're applauding I think that makes a lot of sense. Clapping at a projection on a screen?
Yeah, it was.
After the movie, I mean, like I can understand people getting excited at certain parts and clapping, but yeah, like I can't understand clapping at credits.
Yeah, it was really weird for me too, because taking this back to Mario films, I attended the Hollywood premiere of the original Mario film.
Yeah.
And people clapped at the screen for that. And again, I didn't do it because it's a screen. But what makes it doubly funny is there was an appropriate moment to clap when nobody did. And that's when they actually brought the stars of the film out. And like everyone was there and no one clapped. And then we watched the movie and they clapped at the end. And I'm like, they're not here anymore. They left an hour ago.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Well, speaking of the first Mario movie, my expectations were already pretty level. That's a movie I watched in cinemas. I enjoyed it, had a good time. And then my kids wanted it on all the time. And so I saw it again and again and again and again and again. And it becomes clearer and clearer with each reviewing that is just such a sugar rush movie. Like, there's lots of cool Nintendo Easter eggs, but the quality standard was already pretty dang low.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. I was talking about this the other day, and I think that this is a weird scenario in which both like the film critics and the fans are 100% right about this movie. Like there are things about Super Mario Galaxy that, if you hold it to light, it starts to fall apart pretty quickly. But as somebody who just loves the games and the universe, it's just it's fun. Like it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
Critics look for just different things when they're looking at a film like this, and I already knew this was going to be the same thing as last time because I think both movies got a pretty much almost the exact same Rotten Tomatoes score as for each time, and then it's the general audience's score that was much more glowing about it. I mean, this movie is already breaking records in the box office as it is as we speak right now, and I just I don't really. Maybe I'm not just a keen moviegoer kind of person, but I knew what I was getting into. Like, you go to a Marvel movie or any kind of superhero movie, you're not really there for the plot. You're there for the roller coaster ride that it is. And I already knew to expect this sort of thing for the Mario movie and its sequel. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a difference in expectation for what we're looking for.
Yeah, not every film is art. And I think if anyone goes into Mario Galaxy thinking this is going to blow their minds, I think they went into the wrong movie. There's a lot more out there. And I think that there's still room to criticize it for being a roller coaster movie. Like there's such little nuance in here. And this is very true of the first movie too. In the first Mario movie, when Mario meets Peach, they are so keen to just keep moving on to the point where there's no relationship there. Like, I think Mario says something like, "You're going to take me to my brother," and then she just looks at him and she goes, "Okay," and then that's the entire scene. Let's
see what you got.
There's no conflict there, is there? And then just move on to a set piece, and it's the same thing here again.
Yeah, I think that the movie it's a bit more perceptible in the Galaxy film that it moves at a breakneck pace. There's one moment in particular where Peach experiences a revelation of sorts in the movie, and then they just snap to the villains. Like you think they would have lingered on it for a moment longer than they did. Like, even just in the moment of watching the film, I was like, wait, that's over now. Like that just we're on to the next thing.
They're very keen to just move on to the next set piece. I think you can remove a lot of characters from this movie, a lot of core characters, and nothing would change that much. Like, you can take Mario and Luigi and Yoshi out, and not that much is going to change. I think Peach is still going to get to where she needs to get to.
Yeah, it feels like they kind of have a lot of threads that they almost pull together near the end, but not all of them make the journey. But I agree, it's like there's a lot of disparate stories happening, and they just kind of meet up without much fanfare in a lot of places. Like, I'm not sure how far we want to go into specifics. I'm trying to obviously stay away from specifics. The movie is quite new, but I don't think skip ahead like 2 minutes if you don't want to hear anything at all about the movie. But I was particularly surprised by how quickly Star Fox met up with literally everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is something I wish they didn't reveal. I'm going to say it's not a spoiler because they put it on their socials, but
yeah,
it was never in their trailers. Like, it feels so intentional that they revealed it, and they shouldn't have done that, because that moment was already cool, and it would have been so much cooler had we had no idea that he was in there.
Yeah, because it's so interesting that they recontextualize the Gateway Galaxy as like a place, it's a central hub where everyone just kind of comes together and goes back and forth, and you can see other little cameos in that docking bay. Obviously, you saw the Pikmin in like the size of a water bottle as it lands in front of everybody, and then Fox just appears there too. And I can see how that would have been like such a crazy moment for people, but at the same time, like, he's there for quite a bit of the movie and in some interesting portions, to the point where it's like, yeah, I guess that's why they would want to advertise him before the fact, because there is a significant amount of him. Not as much as Donkey Kong was kind of introduced, but there's still a good portion of Fox here that I didn't expect to see him that much during the movie.
Isn't it crazy how well he fits in as well? Like, he doesn't feel like a jarring out of universe character. He gels very well with everybody else, and to the point where he's the best character in the movie by a lot.
That's like what I was afraid of, was when kids see this movie, are they going to see this silly animated space animal from like is this someone that's just fell out of Zootopia or something? Or is that going to actually be Star Fox? And like the voice direction, the actual way that they handle the character, his lines and everything, and just the overall, like the feel of Star Fox, that was just right there in the movie. And I was so happy with how they played that one out.
Yeah, I think it was a brilliant way to kind of reinvent the character, because I think those of us who know him from the games view him as a bit more serious than he was in the movie. But I love what they did with the character. I think it was great. And I've already seen posts of people on social media saying they took their kids to the Mario movie and now their kids want to play Star Fox because they just liked him. And
all according to plan.
Yeah.
I've seen people saying they want to bang Fox McCloud, so I'm seeing the wrong posts here.
They've been saying that for years, my friend. They've been saying that for decades. That's nothing new. But no, yeah, like I won't specifically say, I don't know how much we're saying, I won't specifically say what happened there, but like in the intro of Fox was like incredible beyond it. So in my theater experience, there was like nobody in the theater because it was like past midnight and there's only like a few groups of adults. My whole row was empty because no one was going to be up at midnight to watch the silly Mario Wahoo movie with kids. But like there was a guy in the back who was like, "Oh my God," while they were showing the introduction to Fox and everything that they did there. That was crazy. Like that was his scenes were like some of my favorites because of what they implemented in the Mario movie.
Yeah, it was really great. And I know some people are quite torn on Rosalina because she has quite a little presence. I think the moments she does have are really quite good. But she takes the Luigi role from the last movie where she's the core plot thread to rescue, basically. The damsel like Peach usually is in the games. But what's interesting is my daughter loved Rosalina, and she has like been all on Peach for like 2 years. She's got Princess Peach dresses, Princess Peach toys, and once credits rolled, she just turned over to me and went, "Rosalina's my favorite character now." I was like, "Dang it!" Now you gotta buy Rosalina dresses and things. But then we got home later, and she was playing with the Luma popcorn bucket, reenacting the movie. Like she was saying, she was pretending to be the Luma, and she was going like, "Oh, Bowser's stolen my mama, and I now need to get to the Gateway Galaxy." Like she remembered like the core names of it. And I came in, I was like, "I guess Mario's going to have to save Rosalina then." She went, "No, Daddy, Peach saves Rosalina." Like she was very, like she loved it. She loved Rosalina. She loved the movie. I think like with kids, this is going to be a huge like moment for the series guys.
Yeah, I think the introduction, like the first moments of the movie, from when she's like reading the storybook to the part that we saw, the first trailer with Rosalina, unfortunately was like, that's probably the best parts of her character being shown. It was just the very first ones and the parts that we've already had seen. I'm very interested in seeing what my sisters think about this, because we're planning to go eventually as a family like we did for the first movie too. And they're like 11 to ages 6, and all three of them. And we were playing some of Galaxy in leading up to Christmas because I got them the storybook, and we've been playing it a little bit here and there ever since. So they're very interested in Rosalina right now too. I'm wondering how it's going to affect their opinion of her. Similar to your daughter.
I mean, she's so powerful in this movie. Rosalina in the Galaxy games, she just kind of stands there. she has some cool moments, but for the most part, she's a standing there woman. In here, she has really cool maternal moments. Like you see how powerful she is destroying Megaleg. But then she like sacrifices herself to protect the Lumas. So she could just tear like Bowser Jr. apart, but chooses not to. And Bowser Jr. is just an incel the entire time. He's just a little incel running around.
He's a little gremlin.
He's been online too much. He needs to touch grass.
That's such a great way to refer to Bowser Jr. because he really does give off that energy. Like he's such a little chud. Like I do not like Bowser. Bowser is surprisingly more likable in the film than Bowser Jr. is, and I think that was also something I wasn't expecting. I don't want to go too deep into that, but I was surprised that I felt like Bowser was a bit more Jack Black than he was in the first film. And I was also surprised he didn't have a musical number in this movie.
Yeah. I was surprised by that too. He's feeling a bit more RPG-ish than usual. Especially, I'm talking like Mario RPG, the first one. There's even some references to Mario RPG in there. There's a cool like a 2-second scene that's just straight from that game.
There's so many things in this film that are like blink and you miss it references to stuff. I saw somebody, I think it was you, John, that you posted like every Paper Mario was on the bookshelf in one portion.
Even Sticker Star.
Yeah.
which
Sticker Star got some justice. There's a lot of references in this movie. It's crazy. Yeah, honestly, people talk about how like when the castle was lifted into the sky, they think about, oh yeah, that's how Mario Galaxy started. But no, I think about Paper Mario. That's the game I think about when Peach's castle gets lifted into the sky, and I'm just like, that's like for me that and for me being that kind of person that played that game first, it's like seeing that in theater represented in that sort of way that kind of hits me in that direction more so than the Galaxy, even though obviously it's the Galaxy movie. But yeah, there's just so many different avenues of nostalgia you can reach in this movie alone, and sometimes maybe it's a bit overload.
Yeah, it is one of those point at the screen movies, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like throughout the entire time, my wife and I would just turn to each other, and it's like she'll like try and whisper something to me. It's like it's too late. I've been aware this entire time. You see like all these characters. I think on the R-Wing there's like a Super FX print on there. Like there's lots of cool Easter eggs. And I've seen some discourse online. There's two scenes that people think they could take out of the movie to improve it. One of them's the dinosaur area, which I kind of agree was unnecessary. The second one they keep saying should be taken out is the casino area with all the Mario 2 characters.
Ooh,
I think
disagree.
that's nuts to remove. Why would you remove that? That's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, without going too far into it, it's one of the references that I didn't think would be in there for a lot of Nintendo lore reasons. Like I figured that they wouldn't have put that in. But it's also just cool to see the specific characters that show up in that portion of the film the way they are. Even if I do think that they leave a narrative thread dangling there, because there's like at the end of that scene, there's a certain like they kind of tease that something more is going to happen with those characters, and then just nothing does.
There's no payoff. Yeah.
I want to say though, I'm curious about this because obviously the first Mario movie was kind of loosely based on like the first handful of Mario games. Then we go to Galaxy, and Galaxy has not just Galaxy, obviously, but a lot of Odyssey, a little bit of a whole lot of other Mario games in it. Where do we have room for another? Because I don't think you can do a Mario Odyssey movie after that. The movie literally opens with bits of Odyssey.
Through the first movie, like the first movie already did wedding, like Bowser trying to get Peach to marry her with the wedding outfit and all. And then you've got a lot of Odyssey in here. There's bosses from Odyssey put in here. There's a lot of stuff. You can't adapt Odyssey anymore. Yeah. I mean, I think you know where the movie's going to go next by the post-credits scene.
Yes.
But after that, it's like they're burning through their material so fast.
Yeah, and even then, that post-credit scene points to a game that I consider to be obscure in the Mario fandom, like not one that a ton of people have played.
Yeah.
Like I myself didn't play it so much later in life.
Yeah. At some point in this conversation, I do think we need to drop no spoilers and start talking a bit more openly because we're alluding to so much right now.
Yeah, I feel like now's the time. Like so fair warning, you've been warned if you're watching or listening up to this point and you don't want spoilers on the film, we kind of have to do that now. So just go ahead and pause here, go see the movie, come back when you've watched it. So let's just start with the post-credit scene then. I mean they show off freaking Daisy. She, there's a part in the film in which Ukiki steals stuff from Peach and Captain Toad, and he tries to pull the same scam and then just gets fucking socked by a gloved hand, and they reveal it was Daisy. She just wasn't going to take his mess, and she just knocked him out instead, which was cool. I did not expect to see her.
Mm-hmm. It's the Sonic 4 thing where they haven't got a voice actress yet. And so she just stands there and does a pose.
She's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but do we think they're gonna basically adapt Super Mario Land? I mean, because that feels like, it feels like a stretch, to be honest to me.
I don't think it needs to be tied to Super Mario Land to involve Daisy. Like, there's a lot more things, a lot more material at this point between then and now to have her be there. I feel like they could just incorporate Wario as well in this sort of thing.
That's what I was thinking. Like going beyond just Mario Land and Mario Land 2, but also Wario Land, because it's all one big tie.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, given the fact that Bowser has now been the main antagonist for 2 films, and now we're talking spoilers. Mario thoroughly messed him up in this movie.
Oh yeah.
He's Bones now.
Like he's grown back skin before. We've made him Bones many times in the games. Maybe he's just gonna come back with skin.
Yeah, I feel like I was talking to Rosie about it after we got out, and I was like, maybe he finds like a 1-up mushroom, and that's how they have him grow his skin back. Because I don't think we've seen a 1-up shroom in the movie.
We've never seen a 1-up.
Not yet. They could just get Kamek to magic up him back together or something too. That feels like the easy way out.
That, isn't it?
Just the easy way out.
It's fine. Yeah.
He's all good again after Bowser Jr. finds his foot. But it's funny because obviously it was incredibly predictable. The minute I saw Mario on a bridge, Bowser with an axe, I'm like, I know where this is going. and it did not surprise, but it also did not disappoint. Like I honestly, even though I was like, he's gonna drop him in the lava, part of me was like, he's gonna touch it, and he's gonna be like, ow, and like jump off it with his butt on fire. But no, they full Terminatored him. Like he went all the way down.
Can I tell you my favorite part of the movie?
Yes.
It was the Mario Maker part where Bowser Jr. just makes a big troll level with all those fire flames everywhere. That was there's 2 Mario Maker references. There's that and then rebuilding Peach's castle. But that scene there where they go back and forth between like, playing the level and making the level in like the 8-bit format, that was really well done.
I felt like such a 6-year-old when that came on because they're built. You see Mario, you get the wide shot of the level, right? And I leaned over to Rosie and I'm like, that's just like Mario Maker. Yeah. And then he's like, meet your maker, and I was like, they said this. Like I had to contain myself. I did really like that. The only thing that would have made it better is if he was on a gamepad instead of just a random terminal. Like if he had a Wii U gamepad, I would have been like, amazing.
Just making it on the pad itself. Yeah, when I saw that scene on the trailers where it looks like it's just Super Mario World references and everything, but it was actually just constructing that world itself. I didn't think about that. Yeah. But yeah, there's so much you can say about the movie. Like the gateway area is like such a good spot to like tie everything together because that's where you find Daisy in the post credits theme, post credits, and like it's just where so many characters can come and go and see, and just little cameo references. I love the Rob appearance, who didn't need to show up at all, but he was just kind of there and doing the whole like right over. It's just
and it's a reused joke from Zootopia with the sloth. It's the same thing, but it works with Rob. Because that is what he does.
Because that's the gyromite turning very slowly to show you. It makes more sense with Rob in particular.
Really good.
Yeah, there's so many small things too. I'm finding out a lot more about the movie from people posting on social media than I was able to catch in the theater during my viewing. Like somebody spotted in the Gateway Galaxy, right before you meet Fox, you see Samus's gunship in the background.
Yeah.
Which I'm just
I was looking specifically in the background in that scene because I think you might see the Blue Falcon as well. I wasn't so confident about that.
There were a lot of vehicles that I was like, is that an F-Zero vehicle? I didn't see any. There weren't any F-Zero vehicles from what I could tell. But yeah, definitely everything space adjacent was like that. I saw something orange leaving. I was like, was that Samus's starship? Gunship? I just missed it.
Yeah. The one other really good scene was the fight with Bowser Jr.'s paintbrush. And they bring out the Odyssey Dragon, but the cooler part is flipping Mr. Game & Watch.
Yeah.
If you told me that Mr. Game & Watch comes out and he uses his hammer against Bowser in the final fight, I would have said this was just some kind of crazy fever dream fan fiction happening. But I was like, this is like I think that's a reference to the Subspace Emissary, actually. Because Game & Watch it's a fake creature made of purple stuff, and he also was making a bunch of fake Game & Watches in the Subspace Emissary as well. And I was like, is this referencing that of all things?
Yeah, I didn't make that connection, but it might be. And I think with the Mario movies, they tend to, so far we only have 2 of them, but I think so far they tend to lift up another IP alongside Mario. So the first one was Donkey Kong, second one is Star Fox. I don't really think they're building towards a big crossover movie. I think they're probably going to keep doing like, let's build up another IP with Mario at the same time. But Mr. Game & Watch was very much it in the moment thing. It wasn't like we're keeping this character around to build up towards Super Smash Brothers. But it was still really cool to see. And I don't think that's the direction they're going with, especially with like Zelda being with Sony and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they made that clear when they...
Oh, go ahead.
I think they made that clear when they split Game & Watch in two and he just died. So that was
it. I also think that it's interesting because to build a movie like Smash, it would basically be like Nintendo's Avengers moment, right? Like you would have to build up a lot of IPs separately for it to make a ton of sense, because Nintendo is clearly angling their movies towards people who maybe aren't as familiar with games. Mario is squarely aimed at like the next generation of players. It's more for our kids than it is for us. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of stuff in there for us, like people who know and understand the games. But I think it seems obvious that they're trying to get more kids who maybe, frankly are like iPad kids to have an interest in Mario, because where do you play Mario? On Nintendo's hardware. And I think that you have to build up these universes to make something like Smash work. And Zelda is going to be live action and presumably because of it, a lot more serious than the Mario movie. Like, I don't think the Zelda movie is going to be for kids. And if the rumored Metroid movie or even the rumored Star Fox movie is true, then those will also have their own tones and settings. Although, given Star Fox's appearance in the Mario movie, it would be crazy to think that if a Star Fox movie happens, that one, Illumination wouldn't be doing it, and two, that it wouldn't have a very kid-friendly tone.
Yeah. I think with Star Fox, we've seen a few like animal ensemble movies like Zootopia and Bad Guys, and they've done really well. Like they're huge hits. And after how well received Fox is in this movie, executives must be rubbing their paws together, being like, we've got our own little weirdo animal movie in space. Like, I think it could do really well, even if the Star Fox IP isn't necessarily strong right now. It's something that has a lot of appeal, and he is so cool in this movie.
Oh yeah, can we talk
for that sort of thing? Because there's like so many different he's like so primed to be set for this sort of thing, because like. I'm so tired of the Smash Brothers talk, honestly. Like, we don't need a Smash Brothers movie. There would be way too many characters to like focus on, and if to give screen time to this movie, because even now we've introduced like Bowser Jr., Rosalina, Yoshi, other characters. Like, it was hard to like manage having all of them have equal amounts of screen time to be deemed important in the movie. I still think Yoshi was fantastic in the movie, despite the fact that there wasn't really like, as many scenes as there could have been, because there's always all the other characters and perspectives we have to capture. But like, I don't know. I'm not the kind of person. I love Smash Brothers, but I'm not the kind of person who's like waiting to see when they're finally going to like break the glass and say, oh, we got to do a Smash Brothers movie now. I think it's fine. Just kind of, as John was saying, kind of lift up another IP in the process. Like for Donkey Kong, got him essentially lined up to have his own theme park. Bonanza came out and had the IP is fresh now in people's minds. And I think the same is going to happen with Star Fox now. Like if we have that rumored game that's going to come out, it's like the perfect time to do so. And from here, it could be a new era for Star Fox from this point forward.
Totally. The solution to this movie having pacing problems and not having time to give characters anything is not to throw in a movie with like 50 characters. No one would have anything going on. One thing I don't love specifically about the relationships in this movie and the last movie is there's a scene in both of them where like there's one point where Toad and Donkey Kong in the first movie are arguing about whether Peach would go out with Mario, and in this one there's one where like Toad and Luigi are like, oh, she could be your girlfriend. There's never like any actual chemistry between Mario and Peach. Like there's never actually anything that sort of implies that there's a relationship there, but they keep like just trying at it, even though it clearly doesn't really make sense.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. Watching the movie, there's some subtle indicators. Obviously, Mario is in love with Peach. That one seems very obvious. He gets her the parasol, which ends up I really liked that moment. The parasol just made me think of like, and I think everyone but me hates this game. Super Princess Peach is what it made me think of, but obviously it's used in Smash Bros. And other places. But like there's a moment where, I mean, they barely see each other in the film. They're like they're passing each other by in most of the movie. But there's a moment where he sends her off to go help Rosalina, and he like holds her hand for a second. Like that's about all you get, really.
So you've got to earn that stuff. You can't just be like they're in love.
Yeah. Anyway, but it does feel, like I said, it's to me what I guess it's enough to communicate the idea to a very young child.
Yeah.
And I think that's all they're going for, really. I genuinely believe when they sat down to make this film, they're like, fill it with references for the weirdos, but also make it mostly for like 7-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that's not really earned is Rosalina and Peach. I think it's a kind of a neat twist. Like people have thought for a while they might be sisters, but they don't have scenes together really. These two never at the end they kind of do. Like they're background characters in those scenes though. They don't really get a payoff for having this relationship.
Well, this is in the pre-spoiler portion of the discussion. This is what I was alluding to. Like, Peach finds the book and gets to read the story about herself. And discovers that they're sisters through that story, and then it's like, snap! You're going right to fighting Bowser. She doesn't even get to sit with this revelation that she has a sister for literally even 5 seconds before it's on to the final fight. And then she sees Rosalina, and they're like, all right, we set up the put your hands together and we make a big bang attack or whatever, like
it's like, you're made of stardust now, by the way. So what does that mean? What are the implications of this?
Where did they come from? There's the whole that whole thread of them being related was like discarded from the original Galaxy concepts, I believe. And then I was like, I'm surprised that Nintendo greenlit having this be an actual thing now. And I'm just like, are they gonna incorporate this into the games now? Like, what are we doing with this information?
I sort of pointed out in the intro to Bella Bell Park, when Rosalina's like flying along and everyone else is in the minecarts, like Peach waves at her and they smile at each other. So I think that they've already kind of started building towards it in like subtle ways. Those characters have never interacted before. Really?
Yeah.
They've been playable in like 3D world. They don't interact though.
It's funny to think that on all of Galaxy, like they never actually meet. When you think about it.
They don't. There's like a scene like in the end of like Galaxy 2 when Rosalina shows up out of nowhere, like they're in the same scene, but they don't speak to each other.
Yeah, it's such a weird setup. Like I genuinely like the movie, but the more we discuss it, the more I'm like, there's a hole here. And there's a hole here, like easy things that you can point out. But I mean, when you're sitting in the theater just watching it, it's genuinely like a really fun time. Like I would just describe it as like a popcorn flick. Like it's a really fun movie. But if you analyze it, you start to see things wrong with it really quickly.
Well, I think that's why I think there's quite a bit of hyperbole around this, because obviously it's a flawed movie. It's got gaps. It's got pacing issues. It's got scenes that aren't that relevant. But it's never dull. It's never boring. There's never a point where it's like, oh, just end already, which is something I feel with so many video game adaptations. And I think it was yesterday I saw someone saying this is the worst video game movie they've seen. And I'm just wondering, like, what video game movies have you seen? Like, you think this is worse than the Silent Hill movies? You think this is worse than House of the Dead? You think this is worse than, I don't know, King of Fighters? Like, there's so many movies out there which adapt the source material terribly, they're almost ashamed of it. They hide that they're a video game movie, whilst just being boring. And that this just embraces everything. Not saying it does Galaxy all the justice it could, but it clearly isn't ashamed to be a Mario movie, while also just being fun all the way.
Yeah, and it's not even the worst Mario movie. Like, can we just for a minute remember that the 90s Mario exists? It's funny to me because I've seen some takes on this movie that just really damaged my faith in humanity. I've seen people. I think The Guardian said that it was worse than AI slop, and I'm like, come on. Come on.
I think it was at the Times that gave it like 0 stars. It's like, what do you mean by this?
Yeah, I mean, like I will say this. I do think it's inferior to the original Mario movie. I think the original Mario movie had a bit more charm going for it. And because it was the first, they had to build the world up for people who somehow were seeing it but didn't know who Mario was. I think it had that going for it. I preferred the character introductions, but there are things about the Galaxy film that I prefer vastly. Like the soundtrack is immensely superior in this movie.
Yeah.
wonderful music throughout. You know, I didn't have a segment of Mario and Donkey Kong to take on me, but it's just lots of interesting choices here, and I feel like it had a bit more Nintendo personality than the first movie. But I think that critics that are going out here, you know, I think you kind of have hyperbolic takes on both sides, right? Like people claiming it's like the best thing ever because they love Nintendo, which I love Nintendo, but it's definitely not the best film ever.
Yeah.
And then you have people claiming it's like the worst thing ever made. And I'm like, it's the truth is somewhere in between those.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed Galaxy more than the first one. I think the first one set itself up to pace itself a bit better, which is funny to say because the pacing is kind of crazy in that game too. But like you focus on the Mushroom Kingdom, on like the area with Donkey Kong, and then like the Mario Kart sequence. Like you wanted to get the key focal things of Nintendo at the time, like with Mario Kart, for example. But then like with this movie, you're jumping all over the place. It's from galaxy to galaxy, and they don't even really need to be galaxies. They're just different focal points. Honestly, you see them flying through space in some portions, but yeah, it's just kind of a setup to kind of just show all these different locations and set pieces all at once. And I don't think that's a bad thing or anything, but I don't know. I'm clearly the target audience for this sort of movie to have fun. And I'm wearing a Nintendo shirt from San Francisco, so obviously that's like. People like us, like we will run in and be fed the nostalgia and just enjoy it for what it is. But I don't know. Yeah, it's different takes.
I felt like such a drip walking out of the movie because I didn't realize this. This is just the state of who I am as a person. I wore a Nintendo New York hoodie and a Mario Kart t-shirt to the movie and didn't realize I was wearing any of that till I got out. It was just so much of my normal wardrobe that I was like, oh God. Like I showed up to like buy snacks at the theater and I was like, this guy has no question what I'm here.
We know
see.
what you are.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't as embarrassing as taking this massive Yoshi bucket outside. It's huge. Just having to walk through the crowd. At least it was other people that watched the movie, but no, those buckets are massive.
It's like, is it cheap just to throw a bunch of Nintendo references at screen? Maybe. Is it still enjoyable? Yeah, like it's cool, like to see all these blink and you miss them things and just point them out and talk to each other about them. It's definitely a pretty weak movie. But I think I also preferred it compared to the original. The original just was so eager to avoid conflict at any cost. It just kept moving and moving and moving without anything really challenging anything. This movie doesn't challenge anything either. But I think because you're not like setting up Brooklyn and all that, it's able just to throw itself in and get a bit more fun with it, which I preferred. But yeah, there's other parts to it too where the original has some strengths, but both of them are fairly weak but still fun movies.
Yeah, I think that's the truth of it, is that they're interesting. I'll probably always prefer the first movie. I mean, it has some things that I just really, really like about it. And I think it lingers a bit more in places where it should to give some scenes greater impact. And plus, I just love the final fight with Mario, Luigi, and Bowser more than the final moments of the Galaxy movie by quite a bit, actually.
It's a very anime scene in a good way. Actually, you know what? I think the first movie's character flaw was Luigi had no screen time really outside of that, like Luigi's mansion scene. This one's character flaw is Rosalina has no screen time again. But again, like Luigi again doesn't have much screen time in this movie, and nor does Mario that much. It's definitely a Peach movie.
Yeah. It is, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's the one major complaint. I say major, but it's really not that big a deal. I'm surprised that in a Galaxy movie we didn't really see Mario doing any like planetoid style platforming. Like we saw them, they show them very briefly, like he's in space and you see a bunch of little planetoids, and I'm like, this is his time. He's gonna run around them in a circle like the game, and it just never happens.
It was cool seeing the Galaxy spin during the Bowser Jr. boss fight for like a moment.
Yeah,
even with the sound effect, that was kind of neat. Yeah,
I think the best representation of like the Galaxy gravity mechanic was in the casino when Peach was going on all the sides, and like even just introducing where they just kind of whoop up inside, and then they kind of very well establish the gravitational laws of that place. I thought it was that whole scene in there was really cool. Great homage to Mario Brothers 2, which I was given more screen time than I ever would have expected, even though Wart was known to be in the movie leading going into it.
Yeah. Having him as like a mob boss was really cool.
Having his characterization was great.
Yeah, it was great. Mauser and Birdo had like no dialogue, which is fine. That you can't just keep throwing more characters with more dialogue in this movie. That's just going to make more problems. And going back to a scene earlier that people saying should be cut, the whole dinosaur part. It did feel like just a way to throw Yoshi's Island references in there, but it's also like one of the few parts of the movie where there is character interactions. Like they somewhat imply like a relationship between Mario and Peach there. Not very well, but it's in there. Fox has a bit of weakness with the R-wing breaking. That was kind of neat. Like, and we also got Yoshi Safari reference with Toad on his back with holding the super scope. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. I did love that they essentially made Bowser Jr.'s weapon that turns them into babies, the super scope. I think that there's so much packed into this. Like there's that one scene where Yoshi is inexplicably like in the city for a second, and they managed to throw Doc Lewis and Little Mac in there.
They did, yeah. We got a lot more baby characters for the next Mario Kart, or the next Mario Kart World update. Because Tennis Fever gave us Baby Waluigi. This movie gave us Baby Toad. We also got Baby Bowser Jr.
Yeah, you know what? That's one thing I was going to mention for sure. I'm really glad that they did so well with the characterization of Bowser as a dad, and they're them together. Like the whole little puppet show story time thing was really wholesome, and just I'm glad they kept him as like people. I think most people characterize Bowser just wanting to be a wholesome father for his son. Like there was just a lot of, even though they're villains, there's still that good familial energy between them too. Like I thought Bowser just forgot about his son, but I guess he was at boarding school or something that he just failed it after all.
Yeah, but no implication to him having a mother again. They're not going to explore that one.
No, not yet. We have to go to the Sunshine movie because there's Piantas in this world now too. That was interesting to see.
Yeah, they also briefly showed the shine shirt that you unlock if you get all the shines in Sunshine. When he goes into his closet, it's there next to all his overalls.
What game has the best paternal Bowser? Because I feel like a lot of people get his paternal instinct from the Nintendo parental controls video on their YouTube channel.
Weirdly enough, I feel like it's Sunshine. Bowser's just on holiday with Bowser Jr. He doesn't know that his son is up to all this mess. Or at least that's how I like to read it.
There was there was like was there some like Mario and Rabbids had some interaction, I think, like
a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit there. There's not a lot of games that do a whole bunch. I think one of the RPGs do it too. I think maybe I don't know. I'm trying to recall like where they actually.
I think Bowser Jr. is only in like the 3DS expansions of the RPGs, right? Like,
probably.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Bowser's Minions.
Yeah, but it is really well done though, and Bowser has some really cool moments in there, and they do kind of backtrack on him changing his personality, but it's done in a kind of cool way to like impress his son. I think they kind of paid that one off.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting because Bowser seems to have a turn of or a change of heart, which I thought was just going to be a red herring the whole time.
Yeah,
because he very, he seems to still be really angry at Mario in the beginning of the movie and wanting to take him out, and he's just goading Mario into hitting him so that he turns big again. And then when Mario finally does, I was actually fully expecting Bowser to just, fight them both and get away. And instead he saves Mario in the Honey Hive Galaxy. And basically, as soon as he reunites with his son is like, remember we had the dream to basically do space genocide? And he's like, oh yeah, that's good parenting dictates that I should murder the universe with my boy. And he eventually comes around to just being like, yeah, let's just kill everyone. It'll be a good father-son moment for us.
Yeah. Daniel talked about the puppet show a bit earlier. I think this movie looks fantastic. Like visually, it's spectacular. And it gets kind of lost on you because it always looks so good to the point where it's just normal that it looks so good. But that puppet show, like animating the hands, animating all those, the physics on all the puppets, that was so well done.
Yeah,
only at 24 FPS though. PS5 could have done it better. It's hard.
There are so many different like art styles that you see in the game, in the movie, that you don't really think about. Like the main thing for me was Star Fox's whole intro. That was a complete 2D animation introduction. That was way more fan service to Star Fox than I would have ever expected to see. Like that's the part where a friend of mine, I texted her afterwards, and they also saw the midnight showing because they're a huge Star Fox fan, and I was like, "Did you see that?" I was like, "I did." Like we were just geeking out about it because all the scenes with Fox were just fantastic.
Yeah, had Star Fox 64 Slippy at one point, like the same character portrait.
Yeah. I God, what did he say? He talked some mess about Slippy in the movie, didn't he?
Said something what happens when your mechanic's a frog.
That's what he says, yeah.
That's what he said. I found that made me laugh. Like I genuinely enjoyed most, if not all, of Star Fox's dialogue in the movie. Like I think he was just so well done and so good. And it's interesting to hear. I can't remember the name of the voice actor, but he apparently had approached Nintendo about wanting to do Star Fox. Yeah. Like he just came to them and was like, I want to be Star Fox in something.
Yeah, and they're like, well, okay.
I mean, you're the space guy.
Do it. Yeah.
You're the space pilot.
I felt badly a little bit because I saw I think his name, what is it? Takaya Imamura, like the creator of Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's just been out there on Twitter, like thanking folks for their reception to Star Fox in the movie. And I'm like, they should have let that man cook.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I did an interview with him last year, and one of the topics that just came up very naturally was that, like, if he was still around, he would love to do a movie for Star Fox. And I wish I asked more, like, what part of the movie, what part of Star Fox lore would you love to make a movie out of that? But yeah, I can't imagine what his reaction must have been, and it still is, seeing his character designs being so celebrated right now.
How cool!
Yeah, very, very cool. But we do have some questions from the audience about the Mario movie, so I thought we'd go through those real quick. I don't know what they are. I didn't even look at them beforehand, so let's pull up our mailbag.
We're so ready, everybody.
Yeah, we're so ready. Let me get those real quick. Okay, so here we go. Amagus writes, after the Super Mario Galaxy movie being what it is and getting the diverse range of reactions that it has gotten, have your hopes/expectations for the Zelda movie changed at all?
No.
No.
Different studios, different talent, different forms of media.
Oh, no, I was going to say different expectations, because when you have a movie like animation like Mario's not really known for having like a strong narrative in any of its games. It's more so we've gone in there for the spectacle of it. But now Zelda is a lot more known for story and narratives and character development and all that. So that's going to be a much different perspective and look and eye of criticism on that movie compared to this one. So yeah, and just different studios and live action. Everything's pretty much different about this entirely. So yeah,
it probably won't be Easter egg packed. Like you're not going to see Zant just in the mix of a crowd or the Majora's Mask on a wall. Like it's going to be a lot more focused, I think. I think
a Zelda movie. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I don't think anything that Mario has done is going to reflect on the Zelda movie.
Yeah, I also think by nature a Zelda movie has to be a lot more serious, not just because it's Zelda, but also because it's live action. It would be really hard to pull off the same kind of slapstick vibe that the Mario movie has with real people doing it. Like that, yeah. I feel like that would just make a bad movie. I will say this though, I'm incredibly nervous about the Zelda movie, the same way I was about the Mario movie, because I think, like you guys both said, there's nothing about the Mario movie that can really carry over. You know, it's different studio, different talent, different medium. And Zelda has, in my opinion, a bit of an unearned reputation for narrative quality, because the story we have in Zelda is good, but it's primarily subtext. Like it's mostly like you find little lore entries, you find things, but I would say Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom started a push to get it in the right direction, but neither of those stories as is would make a very good movie. Like they need a lot of building to give you a film that's watchable and fun.
Zelda's narrative strength is we have 40 years of them, so we're so invested in the story rather than any particular game being crazy strong. But I think there's enough to make a good story there, though. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a talented writer can flesh it out.
It'd be difficult to as Steve said, make it have the same kind of, feel as the Mario movie does. I will be disappointed if there's not a scene where Link is attacked by a bunch of chickens, however. So that needs to be in the movie somewhere.
You've got to get that. You've got to get the actor to hit a chicken. You've got to do it.
Animal cruelty and live on screen.
I want him to grab a chicken and just jump off a ledge and float.
Just fly with it.
It's got to be in there.
It's got to be somewhere. If anything, something to expect, I think, is we've seen like very early shots of the film, and one of them has Zelda just kind of in front of Link. She has a bow and arrow. I think we can expect Zelda to not be a damsel kind of role, as they have been doing with the games as well, like with Echoes of Wisdom, with Tears of the Kingdom, and the Wild series essentially, and with how the Mario movie's been handling the princesses as well. Like, I don't think she's gonna play a more like active role. Hopefully, I'm thinking at least not one where she's gonna be subjected to being in the background or like the end goal that Link has to save in the end. I hope they go for a more nuanced take on it, because like for a game like Ocarina of Time, she wasn't really in danger until the very end.
Exactly.
So
that's another thing with movies. When it's an adventure movie and it's just one person like going from town to town, going through a field, there's no real chances to bounce off or form emotions or any kind of story. I think you have to have someone else along for the ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think otherwise it just becomes a bit too solitary. Like there's no reason for someone to talk if they're alone the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see where this goes. I think the Zelda movie, I have high hopes for it, but I wouldn't say I have necessarily high expectations. Certainly not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe once we see a proper trailer, then that'll put things into perspective. But for now, I'm just kind of, I think I'm going to remain worried about it till I see actual spoken dialogue.
Yeah. Don't get anticipation until we see it. Like, don't base it off anything right now. Yeah.
That said, I don't think people, I'm still, even at the highest end, I'm not expecting like an earth shattering film. I also think I think this has more potential to piss fans off than the Mario movie, because I think it's going to have to diverge significantly from the games to really be a movie that makes sense. Like I honestly almost view the aesthetic and the vibe of it being closer to like Lord of the Rings than Zelda.
Is. That's what it looks like.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I love Lord of the Rings, but I think some people will be really upset by it.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for the question, Amagish. Let's move on to our next one. Comes from Dat Alpha Lion, who writes, thoughts on the voice performance of Bowser Jr. Also, side note, I never thought I'd hear an Adam Sandler movie reference in a Nintendo Direct. When Bowser Jr.'s voice actor was revealed. I'm not sure that I remember the Adam Sandler reference.
I'm not sure I do either. But
yeah,
to answer the question, I think Bowser Jr.'s performance was good. It fit the character well. Not particularly one I think about much though.
Yeah. It was not. It was neither offensive nor remarkable, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's probably room to have him be more like you hear him in the games. He's more childlike. He's more of a high pitched, squeaky voice, and in this one, he was just kind of more like he's got that teenage kind of sound to his voice that didn't really remind me of the original, like the Bowser Jr. that I know. So I don't know. I think it's just a matter of who they have on, and the direction. Nothing against the voice actor, of course, but I think there was a different tone of voice that could have given Bowser Jr. to be a bit more feeling like that character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think it fit well enough that it didn't stick out or annoy me in any way. I agree that it doesn't necessarily sound like Bowser Jr. from the games, but I'm also not sure how much I would want to live with like a game accurate Bowser Jr. saying a lot for an extended period. I think it might come off as grating after a bit, but I think it was a perfectly fine performance. What was more surprising to me was Yoshi, and that was just because I know who it is. And so just that he did the high pitched Yoshi voice the whole time. it was very interesting to me that they never gave him like, I kept expecting him to have like one piece of dialogue where he drops the voice for a second.
That's such a common trope, isn't it? Where you give like someone a little like kiddie voice and then they just go straight to the normal talking one. I'm kind of glad that they just let Donald Glover just Yoshi it on. And he did quite well. He matched like the Yoshi inflection pretty dang well. With Bowser Jr.'s actor, I don't know him in that much. I know he was in Oppenheimer and a few other things. He seems to have done more serious films, so at least it shows cool range to give like this very animated performance. And he sounds like just a regular good voice actor. He did a good job.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of like Mario Sunshine voice acting from that point, because I mean I hear those characters talk. Like Bowser kind of has the feel that Jack Black kind of projects with that from that performance, but then you have like Bowser Jr. just, I don't know. I guess that's just the first thing I think of is Sunshine, because that's when that character was introduced. So
yeah, they have more fun with Bowser. They give Jack Black better material. But I think they did that purposefully though, where Bowser Jr.'s meant to be just kind of he's just evil. Like, there's no nuance to that guy. He's just an evil kid that doesn't know any better.
Yeah, I think with the castings, Jack Black is the only one that seems to the character seems to be more tailored around the actor, whereas the others are like stick to the script, do what's on the page, you know. And I don't think any of them are particularly offensive performances. In fact, I think they're all pretty good across the board. I'm particularly happy to see Brie Larson doing Rosalina, because she has a long history of loving the series and loving the games. And I think it's just really cool to see.
She was fantastic.
Seeing a real fan who had a Wii U doing a voice in the film is just really cool. But I think everybody does a good job. The only one that I will say, and I said this in the first movie too, is Charlie Day is not trying to be Luigi. He's just being Charlie Day. Like he sounds exactly like his normal speaking voice.
I don't mind it.
I don't know. Luigi. I love his performance as Luigi.
Oh yeah, I think he adds something to the character, but I, as a huge fan of Always Sunny, like I can close my eyes and just see Charlie from Always Sunny.
See, I think just having Charlie Day being Charlie Day kind of works for Luigi. Chris Pratt, like he's not bad. He's just Chris Pratt. I think my issues with Mario in the movies is he's quite mean. He's quite a mean guy. Like he stomps on Bowser. He calls his art trash. He's not the happy woohoo guy. He's a mean. He's another incel. He's on the other side of the spectrum as Bowser Jr.
That's why Luigi's the better character, because Luigi was very supportive of Bowser's rehabilitation process.
I did think it was funny at one point, you know, tiny Bowser is sitting on the brim of Luigi's hat, and Luigi's like, Bowser wants to talk to you.
and Mario, I think he could have killed Bowser. I think he knows that. He stomped on him. He tried to crush him. He wanted that man dead.
It is kind of messed up when you think about it. But yeah, I agree that it felt like there was going to be maybe a moment of realization for Mario that just never came. Like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't be that mean. Nah,
yeah, so maybe this isn't within character. Maybe this isn't a happy woohoo guy.
Yeah, it felt a bit strange. I feel like there are a lot of uneven moments in the film. Like there's absolutely zero character growth, which again, kids movie, I think it's fine. But none of the characters seem to learn or grow during the movie at all.
No one changes. Everyone ends where they began. Obviously, with kids movies, you can have this stuff. There are great kids movies with proper character growth. Kids are going to enjoy it regardless, but kids do deserve better movies.
Yeah, I do think in a weird way it kind of circles back to Nintendo's less than desired focus on narrative for their games. Like Mario has never really had a story, and I think now that they need to have one, they're just like, yeah, okay, you know, let's. I guess they go and this happens and it's fine, and they're like, that's it, and they're like, yeah, fine. Not genuinely.
Not to derail the question, because I know there's going to be another one in a moment. But I quite often see that people say that the Galaxy game had more story than this, and I don't think that's true. I think we misremember the Galaxy game story a lot. There's like 2 cutscenes in that game. Rosalina's storybook is genuinely well written, but the rest of the game, it is very much Peach gets captured. You're in space now. Save her. That is the story.
I think most people will think of Rosalina's storybook first. However, Rosalina's storybook is completely optional and not actually part of the main game.
And it's extremely funny because Miyamoto wanted to cut it from the game. Like he didn't want it. And I think Koizumi like just snuck it in.
I was hoping that the movie was going to probably expand at least a little bit on that part of Rosalina to like give her more characterization, because she's not very significant otherwise, because I mean she just appears in other titles now. She doesn't really have any story significance in anything else Mario related, but
this galactic universe resetting goddess now just plays tennis with them.
Yeah.
Plays tennis in Mario Kart, yeah. It has a baby version for some reason, although I guess we did see like how the continuation of how Peach ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom. You do get an explanation as to why that happened. It's still kind of crazy that it's a sister situation, and she just kind of shoved her in a warp pipe. But I guess there's the common thread there for something.
I do love that they lived on like a barren planetoid with just a very convenient warp pipe. They're like, here's the one that'll take you to where you'll live forever.
We could use this at any moment, but we're not going to.
Yeah, I'm never going to use the same convenient warp pipe to see you. I'm also not going to go with you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to drop your infantile body down this pipe and hope everything works out.
Our enemies could quite easily follow you down this pipe as well, but they're not
gonna. It's literally the most known use of transportation in the entire galaxy, but no one's going to try it. Literally no. No one's going to go use it. And something inexplicable is going to happen to me. I'm going to end up on a spaceship full of little Luma babies.
Yeah, don't worry.
Not going to tell you how that happened, though. That's unimportant. Yeah, there's a ton you could there's a ton you could have done. I don't know, but I feel like Nintendo still doesn't really put, for characters as storied as these are, they don't put the appropriate level of or maybe they just don't recognize like how much we'd love to know more about these characters they've created. I don't know. I kind of think they see the first revision of the script and they're like, "Yep, okay." Like we're fine with whatever you wrote down there. We're not even going to open it.
It's like, dang, Fox is in here? Yeah.
Yeah. Fox, cool. It was funny because I think I think it was Miyamoto did an interview for that, and he said that he was ready to like lobby within Nintendo, and everyone's like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? That'd be great." And he's like, "What?" Miyamoto was surprised that people cared about Star Fox and wanted him in the movie. He's like, "I'm going to go fight for this." And they're like, no need. We actually have been wanting you to do this.
Is that, or he's already been like, "Oh, I'm going to try and put Pikmin in everything possible that I can." And I guess he was surprised that Fox was also one that they were like, "Oh yeah, green light that. It's fine."
Yeah.
It worked out. It fit the context of the movie, so it didn't really feel unnatural, basically.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Miyamoto just roaming around the halls at Nintendo being like, "Did you guys know people like Star Fox?"
Get a load of this.
Like,
These guys want to have sex with him.
Yeah, I never considered it. I had no idea people liked this. Man, we should make a game about that. All right. Well, we got way off track with that, but thank you for the question. Our last question about the movie comes from Natalie, who writes, "Since they were referenced in the movie, who would you all cast as the rest of the major Star Fox characters? Personally, a fan of Michael Cera as Slippy and Carl Urban as Wolf." And I'm just going to jump right on this one, John, because I watched your Starlink video. I don't remember the name of who voiced Wolf in Starlink, but that would be my first.
But by the way,
pick.
Michael Cera as Slippy is perfect. Like no one else could be Slippy.
Get Wolf back. I don't know why he only did like one thing and then disappeared off the face of the earth with no explanation, but he needs to come back and do Wolf's voice.
Yeah.
Yes. I think,
it's Jay Ward is Wolf.
Jay Ward. Yeah, I mean, those voice clips just from the video you put out. If you haven't seen John's Starlink video, go watch that. It gives a really cool deep dive into the game, but also just has really good clips of Jay Ward doing Wolf in it. Peppy would have to be someone with a southern drawl.
Who the actor's name is a big act. One sec. I've got an idea. I don't know why I'm blanking on this guy, but I will give it to you in just a second. I think a good actor would be John Goodman. John Goodman as Peppy.
Oh, John Goodman would make a really good Peppy. I was thinking the guy who played young Sheldon's dad, but I think he died.
I can see it. Yeah. Yeah, get young Sheldon's dad.
Yeah, get young Sheldon's dad. It's fine. Gosh, Falco though. Falco, I think, has to be a New Yorker.
Oh,
Like
it's
a-
gotta be. I can
like
kind of
a-
see Andy Samberg working for Falco.
Andy Samberg, I think, would be pretty good.
I think like, not just
I
his
think he'd be
regular
a
voice,
lot
a little bit like
jokier.
amplified, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he'd be a lot jokier than Falco. But to be fair, I think the whole Star Fox crew will be a lot jokier in a film than they would be. 'Cause after the Mario movie, I don't think you can pull back the way they characterize Star Fox.
No.
Because a lot of kids met him for the first time. Way more kids met Star Fox for the first time through Mario Galaxy than met
Ever.
Mario or any of those characters.
Yeah.
I would argue that most kids who saw the Mario Galaxy film had already seen Mario in a game before they saw that movie.
They've had no opportunity to. There's not been a Star Fox game in like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Star Fox is one of those. I think a lot of kids just think that he was a movie character, and
Maybe.
their parents are going to be like, no, here's a game from the 90s.
Fox should have turned to the camera, like looked it dead in the eye and said like, buy Star Fox Zero on Wii U. And then like that's just flashes back to the
Yeah,
movie.
that was pretty much the mid-credits scene where he said goodbye. He just said, make sure to purchase.
Yeah.
He just
You
blew
can
off.
play Star Fox 64 on Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack.
roll either half the credits. Yep.
So real quick for my own sake, because I mentioned earlier that there were two absolute douchebag children in my viewing of the movie. I didn't get to see the mid-credit scene because I was distracted by those kids screaming, jumping, and cartwheeling in front of the screen. What happens in the mid-credits? Because I saw the
Nothing
post,
that
but I didn't get to see
Oh,
the
It's not that
it
important.
was pretty much just Fox got his whole like he got his R-wing fix. He was gonna head back home to Corneria or wherever, and then the other half was the scene you saw with Luma with the
In
with
the
the BB
trailer.
stick,
Right.
that, and he was patrolling, or I guess
That's what I remember.
She was patrolling the prison cell of Bowser Jr. and
Dry
Bowser's
Bowser and
bones.
Bowser
Yeah.
Jr. Yeah,
Yeah, they're trying to dig out, and Luma Lee's just like
that's right.
just
Does
go
the
in prison
whole
forever. Yeah,
existential dread thing that
Yeah.
they did in the first movie. I
they
remember
love
that
talking about
piece, but
death in the Mario movies. That's a common thing. They say the word "die" like 6 times in each movie.
yeah, that's true. It's interesting because obviously they don't talk about death in the games, but
Yeah,
I guess you have to take some artistic license there. Like it's very strange to me also because Bowser very obviously doesn't die. Neither do the Koopas. And they seem thrilled about getting dunked in the lava, by the way. They're on the roller coaster and they're like, yeah, and then their skin burns off and they come out and they're still like, yeah.
they're
Like
fried. They love
I'd
it.
probably be a little upset. Like I'd be like, no, I'm Bones.
Well,
Now,
they
am
know
I
that
immortal?
Kanic's just gonna wave their little wand and bring their skin back. We know this.
I just want EGAD to zombify Bowser. I want EGAD to show up and just like staple meat to Bowser's skeleton and make him something horrifying.
They know he's in there. The Kamek had a mug
Yep.
that had the EGAD
did,
logo
he
on
did.
it. I'm just
Yeah.
like, EGAD, anywhere else, please?
I keep waiting. I keep waiting for EGAD because they teased him in the first movie too. I can't remember what the first movie had that related to EGAD, but yeah, there was the very obvious in the opening for Galaxy that he had the EGAD mug.
Yeah, he's somewhere. He's lurking.
He's somewhere in there. All right, so Falco, Andy Samberg,
Sure.
Peppy, it's Sheldon's dad or John Goodman.
Just his name.
Yeah. One of the flip a coin.
Yeah, why not? Michael Cera, Slippy, Wolf as the guy from Starlink. I already forgot.
Do we want? Are we casting Crystal? Will Crystal make an appearance? Because they rebooted Star Fox.
I feel like
to
Crystal
begin
does.
It
with.
has to be there somewhere.
Yeah. Are they going to reintroduce Crystal? Because I think we're going back from the Star Fox Zero story. I think they've just gotten rid of everything that comes after that.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like seeing that Fox was going to land on the planet with the dinosaurs, I was like, are we going to see Tricky? Of all characters?
I'm
that would've been-
stuffed. Like that should have happened.
That would have been crazy. That would have been more enjoyable than the T-Rex.
Yeah. To keep it to Galaxy, they could have done the P.T. Piranha dinosaur from Galaxy. Like, we didn't have to have the Odyssey dinosaur here.
Yeah, it was interesting. I think it's because probably a younger generation of players recognize the T-Rex from
it's
Odyssey.
probably, yeah.
But then it
this is
feels like you're missing something without Cappy being there. Because obviously the best part of the T-Rex was possessing it and getting to wreck a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows though? But they also kind of did the dragon from Odyssey as well, except Bowser Jr. made him out of paint.
That's
that was
true.
just the dragon, yeah.
For Crystal, maybe like Angelina Jolie could be a good Crystal.
Ooh, it's an interesting choice. Gosh, I don't even know. Like, I could also see. Oh man, I'm horrible with famous people names, but the I think her name is like Erin Moriarty or something. The girl who plays Starlight in The Boys.
Oh,
I think she could be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you almost in a Star Fox movie, because for some reason there has to be like a romance plot thread throughout these. For some reason, the main character has to have like a love interest. So yeah, that would be Crystal, right?
Unless it's Fox and Falco.
Oh, that would be the funniest thing. Like if they're just mean to each other, but in secret they're just making out.
Yeah,
whenever they're not on camera.
There are probably dozens of fanfics of that already. Don't worry.
There really are. There really are. The internet's a horrible place. Like I know there are. I don't even need to look. I just know. I know that whenever two characters exist in a space, there's some fanfic about them.
Of course.
Unfortunately.
It's a beautiful thing.
Just wait till you see the
I've read
enemies to
some of this.
lovers with Fox and Wolf instead.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
There's all kinds out there.
Now we're cooking.
Oh, we're circling the drain now. I feel like this is a great place to end it. Thank you guys. So real quick, let's do this. Because we've talked about the movie the whole time. If you were to give this a number score out of 10, no half points allowed, what would your number score be?
It's a really hard movie to put a number on.
I don't know, man.
I think I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to think about how much fun I had. I'm not going to break the movie apart. I'm going to say like a 6. Like it was fun. I had a good time.
That was exactly where my gut said 6.
I'm giving it a rewatch out of 10. That's my rating for it.
There we go.
That's good. I will see it again when it so my plan is, because unfortunately my kids weren't able to come with me. So I'll probably go to the cinema and see it again with my kids. But it's definitely a movie that I'll pick up like on Blu-ray or digitally, however the legal way to purchase it is. When it comes out, it'll be a movie that I add to the collection. I own the Mario movie. I'll get the Galaxy movie. And I think it's a fun watch. So yeah, I think as a film, if I had to rate it, my gut just says 6 out of 10. Like it's good, not great. And it's definitely a movie that I would put back on, but I think it's not one that even after leaving the theater, I'm like, God, I gotta see that again. Like I have no desire to see it again, but I will because I know my kids want to. But that's gonna do it for us. This has been your week in Nintendo. The Mario movie came out. I think you should go see it. If you're watching this and you watched all the way here, you should just watch the movie by now. So go see it if you haven't. If you like what we do here at GVG in general, or even just here at the Week in Nintendo, you can get access to every episode of The Win a day early by heading over to patreon.com/gvgaming, where for $5 a month, you can get access to the audio version of The Week in Nintendo a day before it goes live anywhere else, as well as a bunch of other stuff. We've got exclusive videos. We've got behind the scenes. Go check that out again, patreon.com/gvgaming. Thank you guys so much for even considering supporting us. Or if you just watch, subscribe, listen, whatever it is you do, it all helps us out. We are going to sign off for now. We'll be back next week with, honestly, I don't know what. Something will happen between now and next week, and we'll be here to talk about it. I hope you all are happy, safe, and healthy wherever you are, and we'll see you next time. Until then, bye.
Till we meet again.